And so this opens you up to a couple of other things that you can do. Anyway, here's a page where you can see adding the review, and this will just take a second to run through. And we also do things like pull our guide note, which is our sort of mini Wikipedia article. And so we can blend now on one page expert content, community content, submitted links, and also your friends and what they think. And here is my profile page on Mahalo, and you can see the different movies that I've rated. So now at the top we have tabs like my movies, my music, my books, my video games, my places, my trips, my products. So if you were going to buy a Volvo and you were interested in or you possibly considering buying a Volvo car, and you typed Volvo into Google or Yahoo, imagine if you could see at the top 5 of your friends own a Volvo, 3 of your friends have owned a Volvo, and 2 of your friends want to own a Volvo or are considering owning a Volvo. So what we're doing here, hate to use the word semantic, but we're creating a semantic relationship between objects in our database, the database being Mahalo's search engine, and people. And so there's a different action you can have with each of these objects. With a book, you can own the book, have read the book, be reading the book, or want to read the book. With a car or a product, you might own it, have owned it, past tense, or want to own it. And so getting that information when you're searching is when you need it. That information exists in a lot of different places. It's in MySpace in some cases, or Facebook, or whatever, but you don't really get to leverage it there. When you need it is when you're searching.
So with the centralization of this sort of very personal and even historical personal information, yep. How accessible is that to outside sources? I guess what I'm asking is how mineable is it?
Yeah. Well, what we're building here is, a system where people want to be open and help each other and share. So there's no privacy at all. And however...
so on the topic of Blade Runner and Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, so if you like Blade Runner, which is one of my favorite films, probably my favorite film, I'm not really too concerned if people know what I think. I'm not putting in here my social security number or my bank information. So I think in terms of privacy, if you're opting to put reviews of what you think of cars and stuff like that, you may not care. And people are participating here in order to help build a product that helps people and saves them time. And so what you're really seeing is, if you think about the information retrieval problem that we all face, our research problem, we typically will, at different times, ask experts, our friends, a machine, or the wisdom of crowds, for information on a product, a place. We're trying to take all that information and consolidate it down into one location. And so here's an example of searching for Iron Man. Now, this is a movie that hasn't come out yet. And so when we do a search for this, we actually find that if you look under the names of the people here and their icons, it says they want to see it. So obviously, now that I'm going to the thing and I say, oh, wow, my friend Mark Jeffrey wants to see this, we have his Facebook profile linked because we have all the different services linked here, Facebook, MySpace, etc., Pounce, Twitter, YouTube. I can actually click on Facebook here and actually email Mark through Facebook, knowing that he's a major Facebook user. So we don't see ourselves as a social network to compete with MySpace or Facebook. We see ourselves as a bridge between the social networks and search. So we don't have to be the owner of this information. We will let people take it wherever they want to go. And as an example of that, there's a really great site called Goodreads, which I don't know if you've seen, but it's for bookworms. And here you see we're going to the site, and a little pop-up comes up if you're using our toolbar and says, do you want to import your reviews from Goodreads into Mahalo? And so we're going to be able to import and sync on many different services your information if you opt in and want to, obviously. So imagine your Netflix queue being automatically put into Mahalo and then showing up on search results. So your friends can see, oh, you want to see this, you have seen this, and maybe if you both want to see the same Kurosawa film, you can have a movie night. Imagine you take the products you've ordered from Amazon and have them automatically imported. Again, when you do that import process or syncing process, you're going to be able to look at it and say, you know what, these 3 things are private. I don't want to import them. Maybe you have some personal things that you don't want to import. But it's a great way to sort of actually leverage that information. And people have been talking now for a long time about the impact social networks will have on search. This is actually the first execution of that. Nobody's really done anything yet. And so we don't know how this is going to work or if it's going to work well, but we think it's going to be pretty interesting. And so one more thing we're going to show in our presentation is, if you're not a fan of Mahalo yet, we understand it's going to take a little time to get people's trust. If you use our toolbar, we'll actually take our results and we'll put them on a Google page for you. So when you're searching on Google, you don't have to give up the machine. If you trust the algorithm, which I use Google all day long, I probably do 30, 40 searches a day, we'll put next to Google the top 7 hand-curated results and the My Mahalo results. So you don't have to give up Google. You can take the wisdom of the crowds, the social network, and our human curation and add it to Google.
So you're really making an effort here to be totally integratable with a lot of different people, huh?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's 2008. I think it's 2008. And, you know, the web has changed. And the more open you are in general, the more people will buy into your system. And so we know that. And if you look at the systems that have been successful out there, like Twitter or Ning or even Facebook, the more open they become, it seems like the more people are willing to participate. And so I'm a user as well, and I don't want people owning my data or locking it up. I would like to move it where I would like it to be. So we sort of feel like we're privileged if people will use our system, and therefore, you know, the way we pay people back for their attention and for, you know, giving us the gesture of participating is to be courteous and say, you know, if you choose not to come here every night for dinner, we understand. You know, it's like owning a, you know, we have a Chinese food restaurant or something, and somebody feels like French food that night. The owner of a good restaurant would give you recommendations of other places to go. They know you're not going to eat at their restaurant every night.
Well, you heard it here first. Jason Calacanis, the humblest search engine on the planet. Thanks again. This is John Mulligan from SES New York.
Hard to believe, huh? I think that's the first time everybody ever put the word humble before Jason Calacanis, actually. Congratulations.
Well, we try to work some humor into these things. Thanks a lot, everybody, and stay tuned for more videos.